Then let's go to the date he actually died on, which is July 20th, which is the 201st day of the year. Yeah, can anybody tell me why The Cosby Show ran for a total of 8 seasons, equaling 201 episodes?
Just days before his tragic and unexpected death, Malcolm-Jamal Warner reportedly received a chilling warning from fellow comedian Eddie Griffin, one that now feels almost prophetic. According to sources close to the two, Eddie pulled Malcolm aside and told him plainly, "Watch your back, they're not done cleaning house." At the time, it sounded like concern. Now it sounds like a red flag. Malcolm-Jamal Warner, best known for his iconic role on The Cosby Show, passed away suddenly while on a family vacation in Costa Rica.
The reason for the title is combating the narrative of Black life, Black culture that the media focuses on. And
that we're all one thing.
Yeah, and the whole concept is, we're not all hood. The Black community is not a monolith. There's so many levels and lanes to the Black community.
Authorities say he drowned during a swim, but those close to him say he was healthy, happy, and had no reason to be at risk. The news shocked fans, but what shocked people even more is Eddie Griffin's reaction. Griffin took to social media within hours, hinting that Warner was too honest, too aware, and too unproblematic for the industry, and that people like that don't last long in the entertainment machine. He didn't name names, but the implication was clear. This wasn't just an accident. Now fans are looking back at Warner's last few interviews, his quiet activism, and his growing distance from Hollywood elites, and wondering if he knew something was coming. Eddie tried to warn him. The question is, about what?
I was kind of going through a period, I was having a struggle with hopelessness.
Oh, okay.
And it was just really, the world is just in a dark place.
Yeah.
The entertainment world was rocked by news of Malcolm-Jamal Warner's unexpected passing, reportedly drowned while vacationing in Costa Rica. According to early headlines, he died heroically attempting to rescue his daughter from a dangerous riptide. The narrative quickly spread, covered by major outlets like US Weekly and circulated widely across social media platforms. It painted a tragic but noble picture, one of sacrifice and fatherly instinct. However, that story soon began to unravel. Updated reports claim Malcolm's daughter wasn't even in the water at the time of his drowning. This revision raised more questions than answers. Why did the initial version say he was saving her? If she wasn't in the ocean, where exactly was she during the incident? Another layer of confusion stems from Malcolm's wife not being present that day. This detail led to speculation about the circumstances of the outing. Was it likely he would take his 8-year-old daughter alone to a beach known for hazardous waters, marked by clear warning signs and absent of any lifeguard supervision?
He says, the thing about a Black boy is you don't necessarily want to beat a Black boy. What you want to do is you want to love him so divinely. You want to love him so fiercely that your disappointment will kill him. You want to adore him so.
These inconsistencies are difficult to overlook, particularly when considering Warner's well-documented devotion to his family. He had publicly expressed the deep spiritual importance he placed on becoming a father, often sharing how he longed for and envisioned fatherhood long before it became reality. In Malcolm's final interview, recorded just weeks before his passing, he spoke at length about the central role his wife and daughter played in his life. He emphasized family as his foundation, expressing how everything he did was rooted in creating a safe, meaningful legacy for them. This is why the questions surrounding his death have grown louder. Comedian Eddie Griffin, a long-standing figure in entertainment, reportedly issued a private warning to Malcolm. According to those close to them, Griffin had seen the signs before. He understood how the system works and recognized what it means to be a public figure who defies the industry's expectations.
Why did Malcolm-Jamal Warner, who was rescued by onlookers, die after receiving treatment from the Red Cross?
Malcolm represented something rare, an unproblematic black man in Hollywood, free from scandal, operating without handlers, or a destruction arc that tabloids could exploit. He declined stereotypical roles, avoided controversy, and instead focused on presenting a strong, thoughtful image, particularly for young black boys navigating representation in media. That refusal to play along made him a target, according to many within the industry. Malcolm was reportedly reconnecting with artists who also resisted the machine, individuals like Dave Chappelle and Mos Def, creative minds who made a conscious choice to step away from mainstream systems in favor of autonomy and authenticity. As those patterns emerged, Griffin reportedly became more vocal. "They don't like clean," he allegedly told Malcolm, referring to how the entertainment world often resists figures who don't create chaos or conform to narratives designed for control.
So even before conception, we were very clear we were having. And I know that I needed a girl first to kind of ease me into it, because I have a pretty good idea of what kind of father I would be. So I needed a girl to kind of, slow me down and soften me up, if you will. So for me, raising my daughter, I came into fatherhood already with a certain maturity and certain understanding of male-female dynamics. And with a girl, all of that starts with the father. So I've always, since I literally pulled her out of my wife.
To some observers, it wasn't just a comment, it was a warning. Now, with media outlets offering shifting accounts of the Costa Rica beach tragedy and appearing hesitant to challenge inconsistencies, more people are starting to echo Griffin's concern. They're questioning whether the official version of events is simply a distraction from a deeper reality the public isn't being shown. Following the initial wave of headlines surrounding Malcolm-Jamal Warner's death, the first reports claimed he and his 8-year-old daughter were in the water together when they were caught in a rip current. That early version circulated widely, cited by media outlets across platforms. But within 48 hours, Costa Rica's Judicial Investigation Agency released a new statement, changing several key details. According to their revised report, Malcolm had indeed been near the water with his daughter, but she was not in the ocean at the time he was pulled under. They claimed Malcolm had exited the shallow area alone when a sudden rip current swept him and a friend away. The friend managed to escape the current while Malcolm could not. This update contradicted earlier claims of a shared struggle in the water between father and daughter. Additionally, early news suggested that a bystander, a single individual, attempted to save Malcolm and nearly drowned in the process. However, the revised statement described a different scenario. Multiple beachgoers pulled Malcolm from the water, and notably among them were reportedly 3 tourists who happened to be doctors.
Met my wife through a mutual friend. I've never second-guessed it. We've been together almost 10 years, and we have never had a fight, an argument, a raised voice, or a harsh word said to one another.
In 10 years?
I was like, if I'm going to have a kid, this is the person that I would want to have it with. I talk about them because there are obviously the hugest parts of my life, the best parts of my life, the best decisions I've ever made.
These doctors, authorities said, were able to revive the friend but could not save Malcolm. To many observers, the discrepancies raise serious questions. Each version of the events introduces new elements, replaces others, and repositions the timeline. For some, this evolving narrative has created a sense of uncertainty that is hard to ignore. It's not about sensationalism, it's about the inconsistencies that remain unaddressed. At the center of this discussion is Playa Coclos, the location of the tragedy. The beach is notorious for powerful rip currents and has long been criticized for its lack of lifeguards, safety infrastructure, and clear warnings. Locals and tourists alike have spoken out about its dangers, calling attention to previous incidents involving swimmers being pulled under in similar fashion. With multiple deaths on record and minimal preventative measures in place, many are asking why more hasn't been done to protect beachgoers. In the context of Malcolm's passing, this has only amplified public concern about whether this was a tragic accident or if there's more beneath the surface. Academic studies have long identified Playa Cocos as one of the most dangerous beaches in Costa Rica, with rip currents so powerful that even Olympic-level swimmers have reportedly struggled against them.
Remember, pay attention, y'all. They have to let us know first before they can do anything to us. That's heavenly rules, right? That's how God laid it out for these little demon mother. They can't with us without letting us know that they're about to with us.
Yet the public is being asked to believe that Malcolm-Jamal Warner voluntarily brought his young daughter to that exact beach to swim while his wife remained at the hotel. On top of that, there were no lifeguards on duty that day. The local Volunteer Lifeguard Association later admitted that the beach was essentially unmonitored due to a lack of resources. However, warning signs were posted clearly along the shoreline, cautioning beachgoers about the extreme risk of drowning. With all of this in mind, the timeline of events as reported raises serious questions. Initially, the narrative painted a tragic picture, a devoted father losing his life while trying to rescue his daughter. But that version of events was abruptly scrubbed, replaced by a revised statement suggesting the child was not in the water at all. Following that, authorities and news outlets went quiet. The story changed, but no explanation was given as to why. That silence has only deepened public suspicion. If this truly was a tragic accident, why wasn't the corrected version of events made as widely known as the original? Why did officials allow the earlier, emotionally charged rescue narrative to spread unchecked before quietly revising it later? Furthermore, why has there been no official press conference, no surveillance footage, no verified timeline, and no transparent account of the response on the ground? These gaps in the narrative stand out, especially given that this beach has a documented history of fatalities and limited safety oversight.
So this is the beach where all this unfolded, but really, as soon as you get here, even before you get onto the beachhead, you can see some warning signs for people who are coming to enjoy the day here. It says Corrientes de Resaca todo el año, basically warning people there is a current here throughout the year. You can see there are warnings for surfers, there's warnings about wave conditions, and then take a look at this massive sign says you can survive a rip current. Clearly, they're warning people about the conditions that can develop, and unfortunately, the conditions appear to have pulled out Malcolm-Jamal Warner over the weekend.
When viewed alongside past warnings, like Eddie Griffin's comments about how Hollywood treats men who stay out of trouble, the situation takes on an even more unsettling tone. According to Griffin and others who've spent decades navigating the industry, there's an unspoken rule: stay clean and you become a liability. So the question emerges, if this really was just an accident, why are there so many inconsistencies and red flags in the official story? Why are critical details missing or changing? And why would a man known for caution and family values place his child in such a high-risk setting? It leaves a final haunting question hanging in the air. Was this truly an accident, or was it something orchestrated? Malcolm-Jamal Warner never fit the mold of the typical Hollywood celebrity. He avoided the expected industry behavior, refused humiliating roles, and maintained strict boundaries around the kinds of work he chose to participate in. He made it clear from the start he wasn't willing to compromise his values for fame or favor. But unlike others who walk away quietly, Malcolm chose to speak out, and that's where the tension truly began. In 2021, he authored a powerful op-ed for the Television Academy. In it, Malcolm wrote that white executives, producers, writers, and directors remain the primary gatekeepers of how black people are portrayed on television. He stated bluntly that even when black creatives are given limited influence, the control is often just an illusion.
There's no criminal charge.
There is a systematic effort to destroy every black male entertainer's image. Nobody leaves this business clean.
He argued that while character professions and social statuses might evolve, the underlying stereotypes tend to remain unchanged, subtly repackaged, but ever present. And Malcolm didn't stop there. Through his podcast, Not All Hood, he broke down the false narratives perpetuated by Hollywood and media about the black community. He challenged the idea that one version of black identity could define an entire people. He exposed how television and film repeatedly default to caricatures rather than offering fully developed, nuanced portrayals. Malcolm also voiced deep concerns about modern hip-hop culture. On air and in interviews, he highlighted how the genre, once rooted in resistance and truth-telling, had been hijacked by corporate interests. He openly criticized the normalization of misogyny, toxic masculinity, and glorified violence in mainstream rap. His goal was to spark conversations about healing, integrity, and accountability within the community, an approach that doesn't align with the priorities of the big labels.
There should be a moratorium on both of those words in hip hop because it's low-lying fruit, it's so easy, everybody does it to the point that it's corny. Like there are MCs who I love, who I cannot listen to anymore because I love J. Cole, but I had to stop listening to J. Cole because I got tired of hearing and
as much
every 2 sentences because he's proven himself to be such a incredible lyricist
that you think it's just too low-hanging fruit for him to use those words.
These corporations, as many know, often thrive on promoting conflict, chaos, and division. Those narratives generate engagement, drive sales, and keep the machine running. Malcolm's insistence on positivity, growth, and self-respect put him directly at odds with that model. His ideas weren't profitable for the people in power, and that, some believe, made him a problem. When someone in the entertainment world challenges both the structure of Hollywood and the business of music with the same level of clarity and courage, it rarely goes unnoticed. Malcolm wasn't just an actor with convictions, he was a disruptor. And in an industry built on image control, that can be the most dangerous role of all. If anyone still believes Malcolm-Jamal Warner's death was just a tragic accident, it's worth revisiting his final statements. When the Kendrick versus Drake conflict dominated headlines last year, Malcolm was one of the rare public voices that refused to pick a side. Instead, he challenged the entire premise, calling the spectacle a distraction. He questioned why hip-hop only receives mainstream coverage when it involves beef, violence, or negative conflict. His words were clear, deliberate, and critical of the system's tendency to reward division. Malcolm never followed the safe path. He didn't remain neutral out of fear. He was actively opposing the narrative. Over and over again, he pushed back, raising questions, exposing hypocrisy, and refusing to compromise his principles. Many now believe that Eddie Griffin's warning wasn't just a casual comment. It was a direct signal about a dangerous game unfolding behind the scenes. That belief was only strengthened by Eddie's recent tribute to Malcolm. In a heartfelt post, Eddie called him a father, a poet, a musician, a teacher, and a warrior. But one part stood out above all. He said they had gone to war together against the Hollywood machine. And now, rumors are circulating that Malcolm had been quietly researching something far more serious than television stereotypes or music industry corruption. According to those close to him, he may have been preparing to expose a powerful secret, something that those in elite circles would protect at any cost. While no direct proof has emerged yet, the speculation grows stronger every day. In one of his final Instagram posts, Malcolm left a cryptic but powerful message. "It's just words. It's just entertainment. You're looking into it too deeply. Okay, because I know we can do better. Hopefully this leads to growth all around. The culture is on life support, y'all." That wasn't just a reflection. It felt like a warning, a final push for change before everything went silent. Malcolm-Jamal Warner's legacy continues to resonate, and if his final words inspire others to look deeper, question harder, and demand better, then maybe, just maybe, the fight he started won't end here. If this story moved you or opened your eyes, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It helps us keep these conversations going. For more on the artists, events, and truths the industry won't talk about, click the next video on your screen.